Hello everybody, ProtoFoxy here, coming back at you with another video. We're heading back into Pauper. We got a bunch of magic cards over here, so that means it's deck tech time. Hopefully y'all are staying safe out there. Seemingly it seems like things are kind of starting to go back to to some semblance of normalcy. I actually go back to work here myself, being that I was on furlough. But anyway, enough of personal yammering. But we're going to be taking a look at some magic cards here. And today we've got this deck. I saw the guy who originally built the deck is named Caleb Gannon. I forget his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel's name offhand. But, you search up Caleb Gannon. This was his deck. And then, of course, people started making some tweaks and furthering it to try and get it to go. This is Pauper Cycling Storm. And it's a very, very interesting combo deck. I've actually been testing it. And when it goes off, this thing kills consistently. More like turn 4, but it can be a turn 3 kill. It's just ridiculous. Just a whole lot of mana. The whole point of the deck is to cycle, draw, build up mana, get your storm count high enough for a big Reaping the Graves, get all your cycling stuff back, stick your win condition, and just go to town. Just keep going. Just loop it until your opponent's dead. I will say this out the gate. This deck is pretty complex to pilot, and you'll see why when we start going over the cards and the strategy and whatnot. I do actually like combo decks in Magic the Gathering. I actually, one of my favorite modern decks that much to the chagrin of some of my friends that I play on the regular is Modern Storm. That deck even seems like it's a little less complex to pilot than this. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the deck here. We've got 4 Tinder Walls. Single green for an 0-3 wall. You pay 0 to sacrifice it, add 2 red to your mana pool. That's why it's here. The other ability is irrelevant, but sacrifice, we pay red and sacrifice Tinder Wall to have deal 2 damage to a target creature it blocks. The reason why it's here is because we're going to get it to the battlefield. It resolves. We sacrifice it to create 2 red. We come over to this card, which actually is showing up early, but this is our win condition. This is out of Ikoria. Ooh, excuse me. Apparently I'm going through puberty right now, everybody. This is Draneth Stinger. Single generic and a red for a 2/2 who cycles for 1. Whenever you cycle another card, Draneth Stinger deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's our finisher. You just need to keep that in mind. Everything else is here. In theory, can be cast with this deck, but you're not casting it, you're cycling it. You have Draneth Healer, which cycles for 1. You have Street Wraith, which is a very popular cycling card and combo enabler and stuff like that. Doesn't really need an introduction. He cycles when you pay 2 life. Horror of the Broken Lands. He cycles for a single black. He does have an ability whenever you cycle or discard another card. It gets +2/+1 till end of turn. Again, in theory, you can cast it, but you're never doing that with this deck. Imposing Vantasaur, 5 generic and a white with, for a 3/6 and vigilance. It cycles for 1. That's why it's here. And then we have Deadshot Minotaur, which cycles for a red or a green. Then we're going to go over to the spell package here. We've got 2 Dark Rituals, which again, a single card that does not need an introduction. It's been around since the beginning of Magic. Single black, 3 black pips. We got Land Grant, and now this is part of the, part of the combo and stuff, and part of the complexity of piloting the deck. It's a single generic and a green. If you have no land cards in hand, you may reveal your hand instead of paying Land Grant's mana cost. Search your library for a forest and put it into your hand. Shuffle your library. So let's say your opening hand has this and not a land. This is basically a land card. Really surprised with this card, actually. I didn't even know about it. And then when I seen it in the deck and doing its thing, I'm like, wow, this is actually really good, and may even play it elsewhere. But yeah, part of the combo, and actually makes not milling, makes Oh my god, why can't I speak today? Mulliganing. Makes your mulliganing less painful if you have this in hand and not a land. We have Songs of the Damned, which is a single black to add a single black mana. Add a single black mana for each creature in your graveyard. That's very relevant in this deck because you're cycling everything. Cabal Ritual, a generic and a black. You add 3 colorless. That is horrible. But you're never casting it before you have Threshold online. When you have Threshold online, instead you add 5. That's the whole point. You're building up a whole ton of mana to keep cycling to go ahead and finish your opponent off here. And I'll talk about that in a second after I go through the card selection. Reaping the Graves. The whole, I guess you would say, not namesake because we're not calling it Reaping the Graves. It's Storm, but this is a Storm card. It's 2 generic and a black. And it says, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Okay ability there, you know. I mean, obviously, it's not a great reanimation card. There are better, but its relevancy is Storm. So, whenever you play this spell, copy it for each spell played before it this turn. You may choose new targets for the copy. That gets out of hand real quick with this deck, and that's the point of the combo, is just... get a huge Stormed off Reaping the Graves, get all your creatures back, and just keep going. Just keep the loop going. Manamorphose is right here, which is a generic and a hybrid red-green. Add 2 mana in any combination to your mana pool and draw a card. Excellent card, really needs no introduction, just keeps you going. We have 2 Lotus Petal, 0 mana, for an artifact that says sacrifice Lotus Petal, add 1 mana any color to your mana pool, play this ability as a mana source, so basically you're just popping it for whatever mana you need. Mana base is real small, easy, simple. We have 4 Barren Moors, more cycling. We have 3 forests. Come up over this way. This is Pauper Cycling Storm. Like I said, this is a very complex combo deck to pilot, but very satisfying to pilot and master once you get it going. I've heard some people go on about how it's not all that great. I have not had an issue with this deck yet. I think like it's going to be a dark horse. But of course, you know, some new brews always come out, and people are always going to try and downplay them as much as they can just to, you know, for whatever reason. But this deck... I saw it in action. I had to build it in paper. It's just completely ridiculous. A few things to note, like I said, is very complex to pilot. You always want to make sure you you have like the proper hand, which is either you're going to have a land, a Lotus Petal, or that land grant. Land grant makes mulliganing down to whatever hurt a lot less. I've actually mulled down to 5 and still went off by turn 4, so that's just how consistent this deck runs. Like I said, not my own original brew. This is just an additional little spin on it, and I'm even kind of making some adjustments that I feel better about as I go on. This is kind of like a start point. Caleb Gannon was the original brewer of the deck. I believe the guy's name was. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But other than that, again, sideboard depending on your meta. I do have the sideboard together. Cards I don't remember offhand. I know Nile Spellbomb's in there. And some other stuff. Couple of lands just in case you have to go longer. You feel like you're not hitting your lands quick enough. But that's that. Yeah, it's a fun, satisfying deck to master once you do. I've got it to consistently go off on turn 4, sometimes turn 3, so I would say this is a turn 4 deck. Don't let the fact that 7 mana is in the deck scare you. You have enough things producing mana here. Oh my god, I almost forgot. Yeah, for 4 chromatic stars, I just kind of glossed over that. I'm just now seeing that. My bad. But anyway, and that's another mana source, there. You got plenty of ways to get mana here to keep this deck going, and once it does and does well. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you do, please leave a like, please subscribe. Hopefully y'all are staying safe out there, and I will see you in the next video.